Hey, Vaughn.
Hey there, Jennifer Wilner. Where are you today? Where are you? Down in
Today,
down in the basement?
home and I would say it's a little chilly today, but it's not humid. Edison, New Jersey.
Edison, New Jersey. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Bonnie Low-Kramen, coming to you from my home office in Ponte Vedra, Florida, with a real background. And Jen, I know yours is real, right?
Yeah.
I've been spending so much time on Zoom lately that I've been having a good time, like trying to size it up quickly. Who's got a virtual background versus like, is that really their background? Like they're really getting good. What's that?
It's like, is that really your office?
Yeah. Do you find that too? That like you're not able to tell all the time if it's real?
Sometimes there's some crazy ones, some kind of bizarre ones that I've seen, but sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah.
I know, but they're quite beautiful. Some of them are really, I think this is an area, today we're going to be talking about the small things that we can do, that we can all do to make this time in the world happier and more peaceful and less stressful. And I honestly think that putting a background. Hey, Benita. Hi, Benita. Hey, Michelle. Oh, Reg. Oh, I think putting a virtual background behind you is one of those things, small things, doesn't cost anything. You can put a photograph that you took yourself. It's one of those small things. So today, the theme of today is that we're going to talk about the small things that you can do to make things go a little easier. Does anything come to mind for you, Jen?
The small things. Wow. I have to stew. I mean, I feel like there's so many, but to tell you, staying hydrated is one of my small things.
Oh, you're making that
literally helps me keep everything together.
Good. Well, it's almost 3:00. Oh my goodness, Dusty Klesner. Wow. I'm so loving this Facebook Live. I feel like we're having a party, a virtual party, and I didn't have to cook or anything. So,
yeah.
Boy, now you're really getting to know me. I love having company. It's just a ton of work. So, Marion has a glass of wine at the end of the day. I'm so happy you all are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Bonnie Low-Kramen. I'm in Ponte Vedra, Florida, and I'm here with my wonderful assistant, Jen Wilner. And Jen and I have been working together. How long has it been now, Jen?
Almost 8 years.
Almost 8 years. That's a crazy number. It's getting big. We're like, did you ever think it was going to last for 8 years?
No, really. Way back when, no.
I never asked you that question. I never asked you that question. If you ever thought it would last that long.
I don't know why. Maybe just you can't imagine where things are going to go in life and how business is going to go and stuff. And I mean, I'm excited that we're almost 8 years strong, but so, and that comment wasn't about your cooking. That had nothing to do about your cooking. I'm saying cooking in general, that I didn't have to cook either.
Right. And so, this is so fun to have all these people on the call, including Robert Sanders, who's just down the hallway here in Ponte Vedra, Florida. Well, we promoted today as an event where we were going to have a surprise guest. And there are a few people on the call who've been to BTUA. One of the things I love doing in our training is to have surprise guests. And, early on when we were doing Be the Ultimate Assistant, I brought in Olympia Dukakis as a surprise guest. And I kept her as a surprise because God forbid she couldn't make it at the last minute. Every assistant knows this feeling. It's like better to surprise people than to tell them, "Ooh, Olympia Dukakis is coming, Academy Award winner," and then have something happen and have her not be able to come. And so that's been kind of something that is fun, really fun to do. And our students count on it. So Yay, yay, yay. I'm so happy to see everybody. Look, Michigan is represented. We have Minneapolis, Nashville. That's fantastic. All right. So you've waited long enough. It's right after 3. I want to have maximum time with this person who is waiting in the wings right now. She is a dear friend. We met, my gosh, I think it was like about 6 or 7 years ago at a conference, and we've stayed in touch ever since. Her name, I'm going to introduce you and tell you something about her, but her name is Monique Helstrom. Monique Helstrom, she calls herself an activator, a pattern identifier, a systems builder, and an unlocker of human potential. After nearly a decade working as chief of Simon Sinek, and if you don't know Simon's work, he was, he's claim to fame is on TED Talks, and has a really highly rated TED Talk. Monique is now on her own, a speaker and a trainer in her own right. And she is helping assistants, executives, and speakers up-level themselves, their brands, their businesses through coaching and speaking. So everybody here on Facebook Live, can we please welcome Monique Helstrom? Yay! The crowd goes wild. Hi, Monique.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Where are you today?
Coming from you live from Denver, Colorado, sunny, beautiful Denver, Colorado. And this is my real background as well.
Awesome. Are you having fun with people's backgrounds? Like trying to, have you played around with changing yours or no?
I haven't just because, my background isn't terrible, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But I have seen a couple of them. I'm like, wow, your kitchen is beautiful. Where did you get those cabinets? And then they go like this, and it's always, oh, that's virtual. I thought it was their actual kitchen or their office or something like that.
I know. And it's like a whole new thing now, isn't it? Where people are deciding whether they want to be on camera or not. I was doing, I know you've worked with executive leadership support. Yesterday, I did the 2 mentoring tables for them. Mm-hmm. And we had a couple of assistants initially who opted not to be on camera. And that's totally cool. I respect that. But one of them just said, oh, I just came back from the gym and I don't look great. I'm like, we don't care. We don't care.
Hey, one of the little things you can do is just be present. Be there. And if you're going to say, I don't care what you look like, if they wouldn't care if I showed up in my PJs just coming from the gym. So we don't care if you do too. And maybe everyone, one of the little things we can do is show your face on Zoom more.
Ding. I think that's a conversation we didn't really need to have pre-pandemic, right?
Right.
So I've asked Monique to speak for a few minutes and just talk to us about the little things. And in the meantime, on the chat, feel free to write any questions and your little things that you're doing to make life more peaceful. So Monique, talk to us. Give us some wisdom.
Give us some wisdom.
Well, I'm going to take notes.
Yeah, this is a favorite topic of mine. If you've ever heard me speak, you know that I'm all about turning the dial one notch every day. Just little things that we can do to become better versions of ourselves, to help other people become better versions of themselves. And we do need a combination of consistency and intensity in our world, and big changes and big things. But consistency is really where it's at, especially now. I heard a great quote that you need self-control in an out-of-control world. And if there's one thing we have right now, it is an out-of-control world. And so it started to get me thinking, like, what are some of these things that we could do as humans that can just sprinkle a little fairy dust on the world, or sprinkle something with a friend, or this or that. And this really came into my head the other day when I was walking my dog, and I counted how many people actually looked up and said hello, or good morning, or how are you? And this was all sizes, all races, all ages, all of it. And I'll tell you, there were probably 2 or 3 out of 20. No joke. And I was really shocked about that. So I thought to myself, well, that's a real simple thing that we could all do. We know it's annoying when you have to go to Trader Joe's and wait in the line, and it's annoying when you have to go somewhere, but maybe just smile and say, hi, how are you? You doing okay today? Even if you don't know that person, even if you don't necessarily care, just saying, hi, how are you? And smile. Even if you have a mask on, you can tell it with your eyes. You can smile. So that's definitely one thing that I thought of. And again, it's all about how we react to situations. It's all about how we act and how we react to situations. So, there's a lot of annoyances, frankly, because of this COVID thing. I mean, there's so many things going on, but it's trickled down to like long lines in the grocery store. And you can't, don't even get me started on the post office. But there's so many like little things, and we're getting frustrated by them. And maybe we just kind of change how we react in those spaces and just, stop with the judgies and maybe just say, everyone's just trying to do the best they can. And, the girl that's checking you out, if it takes a really long time and instead of and getting frustrated and all of that, maybe just say, you know what, we're just all having a really hard time right now. And let's just let the judgies go, both for ourselves as well as other people, because we judge ourselves, which is why we don't go on camera on Zoom if we don't feel we look pretty enough. And I think that's something that we can all just get rid of, is that we're all okay how we are, makeup or no makeup.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's sometimes easier said than done, isn't it? Especially,
Sure.
I mean, we've been friends a long time and talk about, the differences between men and women. And this is tricky stuff for women to be on camera all day long and all of that.
Yeah.
I see
But
lots
I'm
of
sure
people
everyone, sorry.
sorry, Monique. I see lots of people on camera in Zoom calls, in camera in their car, because they want to control the privacy that they have. So they may have like a spouse at work, or the kids are like running amok at home, or whatever the situation is, or they might leave work for a break to get on something like this and to be able to be on camera. So I see lots of cars and the insides of cars of people I never thought I'd see before.
And please tell me they're not driving.
No. No.
And Monique, you were going to say something else,
Sorry,
right? Or
I was just going to say, we all don't care. If somebody, got on a Zoom call with us and said, oh, I can't get on camera because I don't feel like I look well enough, almost everyone would say, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. But we should give ourselves the same allowance and really be kinder to ourselves right now.
Oh my gosh. Monique, you should check out this chat, because people are just saying hi all over the place. It's so wonderful. Michelle, you love your first cup of coffee in the day, and so do I. Oh my gosh, I'm such a coffee person. You are too, right, Monique? I know.
I am, but I'm only in the morning. I'm at the age where no caffeine over 11 or 12 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, I posted something on LinkedIn yesterday, and I was so shocked by the response it got, and it's this little thing that you can do, but I never knew that it was a thing. Monique, I didn't even share this with you yet. I received an email from a CEO client of mine, and as CEOs do, they have their signature, with a nice logo and the contact information. Well, for the very first time ever that Bonnie Low-Kramen have seen, underneath his contact information, he had the full contact information for his executive assistant. And I had never seen that before. And it was so impressive, her name and her title and her email address and phone number. And I thought, wow, if we're looking to change perception, that sends such a message of validation. And that doesn't cost one penny to do that. And I, wonder on the chat, like, do you like the idea? And do you think, it might be worth pitching did you used to do that for Simon? I'm curious, like, were you on his?
Well, Simon didn't really have a professional email. He turned off his professional email a really long time ago. So he didn't actually have email. I got all his email.
But have you seen that?
I have, not often.
But
not
it's often, right? Oh, Linda, that's awesome that you have that. But Linda, has that been for a long time? like it's been years and you've always been there? Or is this a new thing? Or has it been a thing for a long time and Bonnie just hasn't been on it?
She said people do contact her. Dusty says that they have it in their current organization. The executive team has their EA on their signature.
I love that. I mean, Jen, had you known this was happening? I think I better put you on mine.
Yeah. it might, you know, get to the conversation faster, right? If it definitely helps with efficiency.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple times, but not often.
Without the CEO or the executive saying it, essentially what they're saying is, hey, recipient of my email, think twice before you respond to me. Maybe you want to respond to her or him, you know? Mm-hmm. So Victoria is saying, brilliant. Yay, I'm so glad. Now I'm going to show you
that's an easy thing for people to do, making it easy for people to get the information that they need.
That's exactly.
And spend the extra minute, you know, if you're replying to somebody's email and maybe you weren't necessarily the perfect person for them to go to, instead of saying that's not for me or I'm not the person you need to contact, send. Take that extra 2 minutes and say, instead, you'll want to contact Julie. Here's her email. Here's her number. This is who handles it. Blah, blah, blah. Call me if you need anything. Like just that extra step that we could all do right now just to make everyone feel a little safer. It's going to be so important, especially in the next coming 6 months.
Yeah. Because, you know, what we know about stress and anxiety is that people act out in different ways. Yeah. And I think it's really important to be super sensitive to that.
Yeah.
On last week's live, I shared what I'm about to show you, but I know we've got some new people, and welcome everybody. I'm so happy you're here and joining in. Isn't this nice? We got a nice crowd today, probably because I was teasing our surprise guest. And Monique is just brilliant. I bought this transparent mask, it was under $10. It is a small thing you can do because Monique, you were saying how just smile at people and say hello to strangers. I'm a big fan of that. But imagine wearing this while you were doing that. Hi.
That's awesome.
Hi,
I love it. It's great.
My son Adam saw me wearing this and he was like, he was scared. But honestly, I mean, look around. If you watch the news at all, even for 5 minutes, we know that we're no longer in, I mean, it still is an emergency red alert mode in the world, but we're going to be in this thing for a while. I heard from an assistant yesterday who said that the decision was made this week that they're letting go of the office space. They're never going back.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. They're not going back.
Wow.
Everybody is going to be working remotely. And as a result, what she's experiencing, she's depressed and sad and having all of these feelings. And what she's feeling, I believe, is grief.
Grief.
Right?
Yeah.
She's grieving and missing, like imagining something forever. You know, like you had a way of life for so long and then bam, on March 13th, done.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, sorry, Jen, we keep talking.
Sorry, Monique.
Go ahead, girl.
No, go. Oh, you got it.
I think a lot of people are grieving right now and they're not really understanding that grief isn't only about death. Grief is about the loss of something that you once knew. It could be a relationship. It could be, you know, I used to sit outside of my executive's office 6 feet and I used to see him every day. And now I don't see him every day and I feel stressed and I feel hurt and I feel sad. And it is grief, and looking into the stages of grief and how you handle grief, all of those sorts of things, I think would really help. You had actually said something before, Bonnie, in one of my favorite Brene Brown quotes. I love Brene Brown. I'd give her my kidney if she asked for it. And in her newest special, she says, and sorry, I'm going to say a bad word, but she says, stop taking your shit out on other people. Like, just stop taking what you have out on others. And I think that's another small thing that we can do. If you're feeling off, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling sad, instead of like, pushing it out and trying to get it out on somebody else. And we tend to unconsciously, misery loves company. So unconsciously we tend to, if we're feeling angry, we say it because we want other people to be angry too. And so maybe it's just time that we just stop taking it out on other people and just look into, well, why do I feel angry? Why am I hurt? What's going on? What's the code behind it all?
Yeah.
And then solve for that instead of just masking the emotion, because the emotion isn't really what's causing it. The emotion is the result of trauma that happened to you. So
yeah, I would agree with that totally. I'm looking at a few comments in the chat, and there are a couple about, acknowledging others and the very real issues we're having right now with racism and discrimination in the workplace. The George Floyd murder kicked off a series of events, but bad things were happening pre-George Floyd, and they continue to happen. And so I'm of a mind we can't hide away from those issues as well, that they're difficult, they're painful, and we as Caucasian people, we need to be anti-racist and find ways to support our community. We know the data shows that a diverse workplace is a stronger one, a better one, more creative one, and certainly a more interesting one. Sure. And I've got folks in the chat here. We on this call, we certainly, I know Monique and Jen and I care deeply about addressing these and not hiding from these issues at all.
Yeah, don't hide from them. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be sad. We've created this filtered world that we live in right now, where you want to just put this filter and say everything's fine, do. But guess what? We're humans and we're messy and things go wrong, and it's how you handle it. It's your resiliency that makes us all stronger. So don't hide the emotion. Don't, if somebody says, how you doing? Sometimes you can just say, I feel like terrible today. I'm sad and I just don't know why. It's okay to just be real about it instead of hiding, instead of filtering. Because maybe that person on the other end will say right back to you, you know what? I feel terrible today too. That's all you need is like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. And I think a really good gift we can give each other if we have somebody say that to us, say, you know what, I have 10 minutes if you want to vent. I don't have all day, but if you want my ear for right now, you've got it.
Absolutely.
Talk to me, talk to me. I just feel like a gift for each other is to make it safe. Make it safe to say what's on your mind. Michelle Ritchie, I love what you're saying here. Her small thing is that she makes sure she thanks all the clerks at the grocery store and at Dunkin' Donuts for all they do. Yeah.
Little stuff like that. It's those kind of things. I mean, these folks are risking their lives, whether you believe that or not. They really are. And little things, just an extra hello, an extra thank you, an extra whatever. I mean, everyone can do something that doesn't cost money.
Totally. I found another one, although this one does cost a little money.
That's okay.
So if you know me at all, I love live theater. And I am so sad. I mean, I'm admitting I actually went to the theater. I was in Toronto, not lately, but when I was in Toronto on March 11th and 12th. Imagine that. I was in Toronto on March 11th and 12th. I went to see a production of Come From Away, which takes place in Canada, in Gander, Newfoundland, which is a fabulous play. When Broadway or London or wherever you are, if that play ever comes near you, I highly recommend it. It's what happened on the real life events that happened on 9/11 when the planes had to get grounded. And I had a feeling that night when I went to the theater on the night of March 12th, I remember thinking, this may be the last live theater performance I'm going to see for a long time. But what I discovered recently, like in the last couple of weeks, is a paid channel on, cable land called Broadway HD.
Yes.
BroadwayHD.com. And if you are a theater junkie like I am, if you love live theater, this channel is worth checking out. And I think it's like $99 a year. So it's not a crazy amount of money, but I am having such fun. I just watched the revival of, get this, I watched the revival of Funny Girl, which was the play that Barbara Streisand became a star in back in the 60s. I know some of you aren't old enough to remember the 60s.
I saw it.
Don't talk to me about that. Anyway, they did a revival in London a few years back. And it was really well acclaimed. And like they hadn't done a revival of not Hello Dolly, of Funny Girl in decades. And I was in London, and Lucy Brazier, who I'm sure most everybody knows, and I were going to go see Funny Girl in London together because she is a theater junkie like crazy. She's got a theater background. And it didn't work out. The schedule just didn't work. Like when I was available, they weren't having a matinee or whatever. I can't even remember the details, but I remember being so disappointed, like my chance to see that play, because I just love the show and I love Barbara Streisand, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, when I signed on, it was the very first thing I watched on Broadway HD because they filmed that revival. So I got to see it.
That's awesome.
I'm so excited. It was a small thing. It made me so happy.
Yeah.
It made me so happy. And then one other thing along these lines, like I hope you're figuring out ways to get some exercise, to get however you do it. And I'm not, crazy about it, but I mean, I go out and I walk as much as I possibly can. And I put my earphones in and I go on YouTube. Like I don't have to look at the video, but I'm listening to Broadway show tunes on YouTube. It might be something like the email signature, like everybody knew this, but I didn't. It makes me so happy. I don't care who hears me singing at the top of my lungs. Mm-hmm. What, Jen?
I do that on Spotify. As soon as Hamilton came out, we bought the soundtrack, and I'm the crazy mom saying, "History's got its eyes on you."
Oh, now you're not gonna. I'm not gonna get that song out of my head. You all haven't seen Hamilton. Oh, and it's on Disney Plus right now.
Disney Plus. I definitely got Disney Plus for 1 month, signed up for it, and then canceled it right away. So I had it for 1 month only to watch Hamilton.
But wait, how many times did you watch it?
Twice.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a history lesson right there. It's fabulous. I mean, but there's so
and then little things like that. Little things like that.
Get it out of your head where you're singing all the time.
And share it with people. If you can have people over, maybe, if you had a couple of girlfriends that really always wanted to watch Hamilton, get your Disney Plus, have some people over, get that glass of wine, like just little things like that can help everybody.
Yep.
Oh, and Victoria is talking about helping the homeless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Los Angeles. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we and there are a lot of cities, not only Los Angeles, that this homeless problem. Like there are tent cities going on in San Francisco, Seattle. I mean, we're laughing here, right? We're trying to find some bright glimmers of happiness in what is a terrible situation in the world. Mm-hmm. And we are not going to hide from that. And I thank you, Victoria, for, teaching your kids. I wanted teaching our children to be compassionate and to care about others. Before we went on the air today, we were talking about how, people are going to remember this time. People are going to remember 2020 as a time like, can we help others out with a meal, with some money, with, and not wait to be asked necessarily.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you know good news? Like you said, share good news. I've mostly gotten off of social media almost completely because it's just a pit of despair, and maybe share some good news. Maybe share the good thing that happened, or that, that dog that you saw running around the neighborhood that somebody found and went back home. Like little things like that just help people smile and help people have a good day.
Right.
Great point. I mean, on LinkedIn, those of you, I hope you follow me and Monique and Jen. But I really want to commit to encouraging as much as we can for us to help each other find new work for those assistants who find themselves out of work. And if we have non-assistants on the call, whoever is unemployed, because the unemployment numbers are scary big. The virus is bad. It's really hurting and killing people of all ages. So none of us knows what tomorrow is going to bring. So how about we kind of sit back on the judgments and help choose, if we can, to reveal the good news about who's hiring, in what city, how can we point people to those positions? Because I promise that we will look back and remember who helped us in our times of adversity and who didn't, who chose to just be fine with their happy situation because they're not in entertainment, they're not in events. Can you imagine what it must feel like to be in the event business and the hotel business, restaurant business?
No.
90 agents were let go at CAA yesterday.
90?
90.
Where?
CAA, which is one of the biggest entertainment firms. Monique, you know CAA, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I just thought of another one, a really important one. Here's my favorite one.
Yes.
Vote. Please go out and vote. And I'm not just saying federally. Yes, please go out in November and vote. Please, 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 please. If there's one thing you do this year, sign up to vote. But you have to vote locally. You have to vote for your local government and your county government and your city government. It doesn't matter who's at the top of the pyramid. There's a lot of people in the middle of the pyramid too. So my absolute thing you could do. People who know me know I don't go into political discussions in these things because it's a no-win thing. But I think Monique's message, however you're going to vote, just have your vote count, and my message would be, don't let anybody tell you how to vote. Use your mind. I love Carrie's, she's quoting Hamilton. I'm not throwing away my shot. I'm not throwing away my shot. It's amazing. It's so good.
We're all over the place. We have Kelly from South Africa on this call. So Monique, I'm going to be your assistant here. I'm going to do a time check because I don't want you to be late. Are you?
Yes, unfortunately, I do have another commitment right here at the half hour here. But Pam, thank you for having me.
For us, ma'am.
Control what we can control. We have a lot in our power. We certainly can't control the external stuff, but we have control over this vessel, and we have control over what comes out of our mouth. So, you might not get it right tomorrow, but practice. Just practice.
Right. Thank you so much for being here. I'm sure everybody took a few things away. And Monique, we will be in touch. We've got lots of things to talk about.
Thank you. Thank you out there to the virtual world. Thank you for having me.
Mwah. Talk to you soon.
Great.
Good luck with that basement of yours.
I don't know how to get out.
Oh.
Jen, I think.
Okay. All right. Bye.
I'm just going to close it down.
Okay.
Monique is trapped in Facebook Live land. Awesome.
Great.
Awesome. I just love involving I love involving our friends and colleagues and these events. My goodness, you can be in Jersey, I can be in Florida, and
love it.
Denver. What other kind of questions do we have on here and comments, Jen?
So we had one up top that I think you would like to address. It's up a little bit. Okay, so Erica was saying, I'm not currently working, but will return during the workforce soon. During quarantine, I started a nonprofit organization, became the chair of another, and a committee member for another. I love being my community. What? I love being my community. What advice can you give to balance the life as an EA and community activism? Wow, Erica.
Yeah. Well, okay. The big given, doesn't matter who you are. We only get 24 hours in a day. That's it. That's all we get. And now in a heartbeat, like the schedule has changed. And really it depends on, do you have kids at home? Do you have other family members at home? Like the whole thing. Are your kids going back to school? Or are they not going back to school? I think, Erica, it's very subjective. It's really individual. I do see assistants talking with leaders about companies getting involved with community efforts, with donations to certain charities, getting involved in certain ways. Vicki and I did a webinar series this spring. Perhaps I think some of you were on there, and we gave a donation to the kitchen, the central kitchen, to feed the homeless. It is about finding the thing that you care about. What is it that you care about? I had a birthday earlier this month, and I decided, it's apparently on Facebook. It's it's been a trend, and this was the first time I ever did it, was to ask, instead of any presents people to give me, to donate to NAACP. And I became a member, and I thought, you know what, in Mr. George Floyd's memory, and to take a stand, I really believe we need to do that, to take a stand. And so, Erica, the balance is about what works in your life. We all want balance. I have struggled with that my whole life. I really urge everybody to take a fresh look at your 24 hours in a day, and to take a fresh look at how those hours are being used to make new decisions, because we're in a new situation. The old rules do not apply.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that, Jen?
Yeah, no, I agree. We've become very strict in our household about first thing you do when you wake up. You have your gratitude moment for everything you're grateful for, that you're waking up, and all the good stuff, and then put on your sneakers and get your exercise.
Yeah.
And because this sitting is not good for us, but we have to do it. We have to make money. We have to work.
Right. Sitting is the new smoking.
Right. So,
but a couple comments on the chat, which are completely legit, is how much stress and anxiety and depression there is. And for good reason. This is unprecedented what's going on. And it just, I ask all of you to think to yourself. You don't have to tell me, but I ask this question in Be the Ultimate Assistant workshops, is to think about, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most, how stressful is it right now for you? And you can just give yourself a number. They ask you in the hospital or at the doctor's office, what's your pain level on a scale of 1 to 10? I flip that and I ask you about your stress level. And if you're sitting in with a stress level of 6 or above on a sustained length of time, then it may be time to find a trusted friend to really vent with, and or a therapist. I'm a big fan of therapy. My students know I've had thousands of dollars of therapy. I'm a big believer, and it works. Everybody needs a little extra help sometime.
Absolutely.
And this is such an extraordinary time. So, Jen, Charles is telling us. Charles?
Yes.
Jen has the cutest dog, Charles. Oh my gosh, he's so adorable. Yeah. I want to thank everybody for being on. Jen, I want to thank you. I want to thank Charles.
Yeah, thank you, Charles.
I want everybody to know that Vicki and I have decided to Be the Ultimate Assistant virtually. on September 17 and 18, and we still have a few seats. So just go to my website, bonnielowkramen.com. And we're also doing the class on demand. So excited. So it's learn.bonnielowkramen.com. If you are interested in working with Vic and me, there's a lot happening in the world. And we know that these resources are needed in order for assistants to function at the very highest levels. It still is true, Jen. When I was with Olympia Dukakis, I used to think to myself, how am I going to be as great an assistant as she is an actress? How's that going to happen? And at the time, I found very few books and very few classes, and that's why I built these myself. So I hope. What's that, Jen?
And we're so lucky that you did.
Oh, well, thank you, honey. Thank you. I'm so happy that you're got my back. This is so fun to do this with you. So for everybody on the call, if you have something burning on your mind, email me, bonnie@bonnielowkramen.com. I hope you'll come back next Wednesday when we just might have another surprise guest. We just might. And and so I hope you'll come back. I hope you'll bring other people. Jen, what else do we want people to know?
So let's not forget about the virtual class. And in case you didn't see it, we talked before about employment. If you're looking for a job, you can post on the Be the Ultimate Assistant Facebook page, need a job, hashtag need a job, and all the information. And if you know of a job within your company or another location, you can post help wanted and the details. And
I think we're saying now hiring. I think
now hiring. Yeah.
Hashtag now hiring.
Now hiring, right.
Okay. All right. So that's it. If you're looking for work, we want to help you do that. If you're looking for training, we want to help you do that too. Mm-hmm. If you're a little sad and you love music, go listen to some music that feeds your soul. I don't know about you, but music just makes me feel better.
Yeah.
And who cares who hears you? One of my favorite quotes I've been looking at a lot lately is, we can no longer wait for the storm to pass. We must learn to work in the rain. And you know what? If we all have to work in the rain, we as assistants know the best place to get umbrellas. Right? One last tip before we go. One last tip, a small thing. So I'm going to post this on LinkedIn. I was contacted by the owner of a gallery in Washington, D.C., klgallery.com. These are the guys that design and create and find the gifts that get given to presidents and kings and queens and royalty and assistants. This guy is married to an executive assistant. And so he found me through that. And so he's created this really terrific blog post about gifting, about the best gifts to give. And he really gets to the chase. It's a cool article. I can't wait for you all to see it. So check it out on LinkedIn. I think I'm going to post it on Friday. Okay. So with that, I'm urging you all, wear your masks, stay safe, stay healthy, because as long as we're healthy, we can solve anything. We can solve unemployment. We can solve the sadness that's existing. And please stay healthy. We need you and your families healthy. We need you in the workplace. Any last words, Jen?
Nope, I think you got it.
All right, my friends. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Yep, we'll see you next Wednesday. Same time, same place.
Okay. Stay safe.
You too. Take care, everybody.